So yesterday, my Facebook status, I put up something. I put up one of my truths. Now, I share a lot of my business, people would say, because I feel like that's my calling. I feel like God put me on this earth to share my truth so that I could liberate people. So I don't care who judges me and says, oh, she says she puts everything on her as a Facebook status. We all know that social media is a very powerful tool, and my truths have been able have liberated people in the past and helped them find truth and freedom in their situation. So I'm going to continue to share. If you don't care to hear it, that's okay. You don't have to listen. So yesterday I shared another one of my truths, and I said, once upon a time I lost myself by falling in love with someone who suffered with narcissistic personality disorder, which is often abbreviated to NPD. Um, my my time during that relationship was probably the hardest time of my life. I literally lost myself. I was broken into pieces. This person suffered with this disorder and didn't even know it. Nothing I did was enough. Nothing I did was right. Every problem that we had, the blame was passed to me. And I never got a sorry from that person. No matter how many times he wronged me, it would somehow be my fault, and I never got an apology. The closest I would get to apology was a sorry, but a negation following it. So, I'm sorry, but I did this because you did that. I'm sorry, I did this because I heard that you did that. And it was always deflected. It was always my fault somehow. Another thing that this person would do, and I realized after getting help that this is something that all people with NPD do, he made me feel small. Everything I did was minute, right? Everything I did was bleh, not a big deal. But everything that he did was a big deal, and everybody had to glorify him for the good things he did. And everything that I did was not a big deal, not important. So many important things that I would invite him to, he wouldn't show up because he had better things to do. He also isolated me from my people, from people that I'm accustomed to being around, and caused me to lose trust in them because he would tell me, oh, this one said that about you, and this, and that. So I realized after that I was being isolated because that was his way of me not finding out the truth. So I said to you before, for him, I was never enough. The fact that I was never enough in his world, that warranted him cheating. So he always had, there was always another girl in the picture. I went through a lot of pain, a lot of sadness, a lot of depression. I was weary. I was literally tired. And, but I would put on a show. I would go out into public and pretend like I was the happiest person alive because I'm like, if anybody is to believe that I'm okay, I've got to stay laughing. I got to stay smiling because that's who I am. So I did just that. But my health started deteriorating just because of the mental abuse that I was going through. My health started deteriorating. I was more sick, like just for no reason. I was weary. I was tired all the time. And one day, I started exhibiting stroke-like symptoms. So my left side was not responding like the right side. There was pain in my head. There was just multiple things. So I went to neurology in the emergency, and the neurologist was like, yes, there's definitely something going on. So they thought that I was having a stroke. So I went through all the scans and everything. And the last thing the doctor said to me, he pulled me aside. He had medical students or whatever, but he pulled me aside and asked them, like, can I speak to her alone? And he said to me, stress kills, right? And I'm looking at him like, okay. He's like, stress kills. So whatever it is in your life that is stressing you out, you have to get rid of it because it's going to kill you. So at that point, I made a decision. I realized it's either him or me. And my kids didn't deserve to lose their mother because of some man. So I decided to leave. It was one of the hardest things that I had to do because he played a victim in all of this. So it was my fault, and me leaving just made me a terrible person. I was a bitch. I was that. And he tormented me every step of the way. So leaving was not a thing that I did. It was a process, and it took a long time, and he tormented me. And even after leaving, I'm not a person that likes to have enemies. So I was like, well, maybe we could be friends. Maybe I can help him. Maybe I can be there for him. But one thing that you cannot do with someone who has NPD is remain in contact with them. You can't be friends. You give them an inch, they take a yard, right? Like trying to be friends with him, he'd somehow find his way back into my life and try to like treat me like I was his property and try to control me and try to manipulate me again. So I realized I have to cut all ties with this person because it's just I'm always going to be in this toxic relationship. So it was never enough. I was never right. I was never important enough. There was just so many things. And I remember speaking to people about it just after, and people who are going through the same thing. And it's like they were surprised because they're like, I feel like we've dated the same guy. And it's not that we've dated the same guy. We've dated the same, we've dated someone with the same disorder. And a lot of the symptoms are the same. Like they all suffer with the same kinds of things. They make you feel like you're crazy, right? They point the blame. Like you're sitting here saying, I swear I said that. And they're like, you didn't say that to me. I don't know who you were talking to. They make you second guess yourself, make you second guess your integrity, make you second guess your insanity. Like you literally sit there and think that you're going crazy. And it's hard. Like I was broken into a million pieces. I had to leave in order to find myself again, and in order to build myself back up. I'm still picking up the pieces and finding them in different places and putting myself back together. But I'm good now that that person is not in my life, but I had to let go. People with mental disorders that refuse to acknowledge that they have a mental disorder, they are harmful to the people around them. It's one thing if you realize you have a problem and you're getting help for it, or you're just the fact that you're aware that you have a mental disorder. But the people that don't know, like somebody with narcissistic personality disorder, everything is about them. So it's rare that they realize that something's wrong with them. They will lose all kinds of friends, all kind of people will go in and out of their life, and they will still sit there and think that they are amazing and that these people weren't worthy to be in their life, and something's wrong with everybody else but them. So I'm just sharing my truth with you because there are some people, when I shared my status, who reached out to me. Men, women reached out to me. And sometimes you're sitting in this relationship and you literally feel like the problem is you, because they're so good at manipulating you and making you feel like the problem is you. So you sit here and you lose sense of your greatness. And this person is literally making you change. So sometimes when someone shows you it's not you, and it's not even that person, like they're not mindfully doing it to you, it's their disorder, it helps you gain perspective and be enlightened, and you're like, okay. So also too, people used to say to me, like, why do you stay? This guy is abusing you. Well, it was easier to stay in the relationship because I used to tell my friends, it's either you're with the hunter or you're hunted. These are your two options when you're in a relationship that's toxic. So sometimes I would leave, and just to stop the tormenting, I would go back because it would quiet him down. So it is not a healthy relationship. No matter how much you love this person, you cannot fix them, right? You can't sit there and think, oh, my love is going to fix them. I'm going to fix him. I'm going to fix her. You cannot do that by yourself. You will end up breaking yourself and losing yourself in this process of trying to fix this person. You can't fix them, and love is not enough. They really need mental help, and I don't know how you would get them to do that, but I just wanted to share my truth today. If you are in a relationship that is toxic and causing you to lose yourself and break, please get out. Again, I am not a psychologist. I'm just sharing my experience with you. I started following this page on IG, Coach Elizabeth Shaw. So that's at Coach Elizabeth Shaw. She shares posts that make you go, oh my God, she hit the nail on the head. Like, it's crazy. Like, the posts are